Ian, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
So nice to have you here. It's so nice to have you here. And I think we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago and we were like, how do we get you on the podcast? How do we have a bit of a one-on-one water cooler chat with the mics?
I was just about to say it was a water cooler chat and it was fascinating to explore with you. But I think being here is great. And thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful podcast studio. It's great.
It's pretty cool. And I suppose up till now, we've been really using this as an opportunity to showcase our members and really spotlight in on who they are and their opportunities within the baths. But now we really want to expand out on that and talk into the wider ecosystem and what's happening on the ground within Northern Ireland. And I suppose it's really pivotal to have you on as the first, person doing that. You're obviously building blockchain communities here in Belfast, and the work that you're doing in the labs. We had a conversation, it's probably, I don't know if it was the summertime or just after that, where you kind of said, hey, I want to create a space and a community to support these founders on the ground. And how do we do that? And I suppose that's now evolved. So it's so nice to have you here today.
Thank you very much. Yeah, can't believe that it's probably 9 months since we sort of explored and pulled that thread to see what we could do here. And 9 months later, it's thriving, which is great.
Yeah.
And honoured to be here as the first, I suppose, external guest or a person that's in the broader community.
Yeah.
But for you guys, I mean, you are the centre and the epicenter of what's happening here in Belfast. So it's an honour to be with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I suppose to kind of start us off, it makes sense to dive in a wee bit about who you are and what you're doing to support founders on the ground. So kick it off.
Yeah, well, I'll go back a little bit further than that. But my background is in traditional finance, fintech. Actually, with a company from Newry, First Derivatives. So I began there and I was 10 years with them. Transitioned into a role in a traditional finance on the risk side of things. And that leads me up to now. But for the past probably 10 years, I've kind of had an interest in emerging technology, blockchain specifically, involved with communities online and different projects that we're building in the space.
Yeah.
Kind of started.
I'm going to just interrupt you in that piece. Cool. Just blockchain. Talk us a wee bit about that. What is that? Simple terms.
In simple terms,
yeah.
If we were to go back to, I guess, the core basics of it, the blockchain technology is essentially a ledger system.
Okay.
It's an immutable ledger system that's on-chain, that's unchangeable, and it allows for transacting in monetary terms or in any number of spaces that has evolved since. I know it originated sort of post-financial crisis in 2008, 2009 with the Bitcoin white paper from Satoshi Nakamoto, someone that nobody knows who he is, but he essentially put in the building blocks for the peer-to-peer monetary system. Something that I guess was to combat the problems that we had seen in the traditional markets during that time, and it essentially is a distributed ledger technology that allows for transactions to be captured immutably on chain.
Okay, wow. I always
Mouthful.
but you summed it up very well there. Sorry, I just wanted to kind of be clear in terms of what that actually means, because I'm that person that's speak to me like I'm 5. Tell me the kind of the in-depth understanding of those things. So yes, you were saying, that's sort of where you came from. You were in that sort of fintech world, and then that kind of naively moved then into the blockchain piece. Sorry.
Yeah, so it was kind of I was, I suppose, a hobbyist in the space for a long time with, the emergence of cryptocurrencies and what the bull markets and everything that happened with those. And it was front and center at 2017, 2018. It kind of died off with, the way the sort of 4-year cycles that they go through. I expanded out my interest by kind of getting involved in communities, being part of, I guess, immersing myself with new and emerging technologies and the communities that go along with them. That kind of expanded into, I suppose, post the COVID times, which we won't go too much into, when everything was online and you were meeting people and you were, I guess, involved more from behind the keyboard. There was a lot of, communities built through Discords and Telegrams and different applications like that. So my journey kind of went from exploration to then helping out on different projects from people that I'd met were building. So from a go-to-market strategy, from tokenization, from tokenomics to anything else that was kind of in between. It evolved over the course of a couple of years, and you know, the more I pulled at that, the more I really found an interest in that space. And I guess up to most recently, I've been kind of core contributor with a couple of different teams on the side in my evenings and weekend time. But bringing it right up to, you know, a year ago, I first met with a friend of mine in Dublin that was keen to run a community event, which was a decentralized community event through Crypto Mondays. And that led me to meeting the Solana super team. And the guys at the super team, Alejandro Gutierrez was the main man behind that, which only started a year ago. So it kind of emerged at the same time.
It's very young.
This, yeah.
And what is it, I suppose, if you could sum up what the Solana super team are all about, what is that?
I mean, I think they're like a community-focused support network for builders on the Solana blockchain. So they help with, you know, bringing people together. They can help with, you know, raising particular funds. They can help with connections within the ecosystem, the network, and giving people the tools, I guess, to build out those startups. And they have a number of different super teams across the globe. And Ireland has emerged as one of the, I would say, top 5 over the last year, which is really, really an achievement for them.
Wow.
Through the super team, it was actually where we come back to where Ormo Labs comes in. It was through Alejandro that we decided the playbook is there in Dublin. And, you know, is it possible to make this happen in Belfast also? We want to be all island and we want to expand out. And that was where I think the first email was sent to, it was through Mark actually. And it came back to yourself and Emma, and we just said, look, is it possible to find a space that we can bring people here? And we did. We made it happen last September. I know we bussed a significant amount of our members that day from Dublin, so it was very much, we rented a crowd and we moved it, but it was a great showcase for what we could do. Since then, we've, I guess, expanded into, as of January this year, we've expanded into a monthly Talent Hub Friday here on the ground. We've had anything from between 10 to 15 to 20 people showing up on a Friday. Those are different builders from the space here in Belfast, connections of friends, anyone that's building on the blockchain here that wants to be involved in the community. We welcome them along to us, and we've really seen a growth in that, and a core group of people have been showing up on a monthly basis, which is I guess it's vindication in some ways to what we're trying to do and trying to build here on the ground. Yeah,
it feels right that now is the time for Belfast. You obviously talked around that piece of that all island. It was very like the sense of community down in Ireland was growing, and it was like, hey, let's make this happen up north. So timing was really quite nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I haven't been so. I guess my again. The pain point for me here has been everything prior to now had been online, and there was never a core community or ecosystem on the ground to be involved in, to meet people, to expand out ideas, expand out communities, networks, everything like that. And I think the emergence of a number of different events happening over the past year has seen that explode. I mean, you guys have put yourself really on the map recently. You see Techstars coming in here. We see recently there was the Sales and Scale Software NI push. There's a real...
We actually, as we're recording this today, we are day 1 of Founder Labs Cohort 4, which is really exciting as well. This is a pretty momentous day.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. And like that's 4 cohorts in the space of 18 months. Is it?
I think it's 2 years, over 2 years.
Like it's incredible, and I think, as you said, each one of these pieces kind of snowballs the overall, I guess, startup community and builder community here in Belfast and across the north. I know there's the home and dairy also that people are building out of as well. So there's a lot of, it kind of feels like you said, it feels like the right time for this to happen. And where in the past blockchain has been considered like, kind of a silo of its own where people were maybe skeptical of it. It was like the casino element of it, where yes, there's been bad actors and there's been scandals that have come out of it, but it feels like that element and that part of the overall blockchain ecosystem has become much smaller. We're seeing the emergence of stable coins, of real world assets, of tokenization. There's financial institutions now are, putting large amounts of capital behind digital assets and tokenization and real world assets. So it's something that is now something that people can maybe get behind and accept.
Yeah.
And rather than being a silo of its own, it's going to become one of those, or I guess I hope that it becomes a technology within the stack rather than a specific blockchain focus and a startup focus.
Yeah. I think for me, there's that piece of like when I hear like crypto and Bitcoin and all of that knowledge piece there, I always was like, oh, what's that? What is that? And I think, is there a piece you think that there's an education piece in that it's people are now starting to understand this more?
Absolutely. And I think really nice lead into to, another piece of what's happening here in Belfast. At the very first meeting we had here in Belfast last year, I met with a couple of guys, a team from Queen's University, Vishal, Guyan and Fanya, and we sat and we spoke at length for it was at least an hour.
Wow.
And we were kind of both coming at this from the same problem. They're obviously academically focused, I'm industry focused, and they have the same issue where they didn't notice that there was much of an awareness and an education and a focal point around, we'll call it blockchain and distributed ledger technology here in Belfast. And again, we put our heads together to say, look, this has to change. There's nothing here, so we either somehow build it or we start to champion it. And over the course of a couple of weeks, out of that was born the NI blockchain, which it evolved from what was the previous year was the Queen's blockchain initiative, which was an academic focused education and awareness piece that they were doing within the university. So we brought industry and academics together for that.
Sure.
To expand and broaden it out to the NI blockchain initiative across the north. And over the course of 4 months, we put together a summit, which happened in February last. We had 100 plus attendees. We had 20 plus speakers.
Wow.
We had panels. We had keynotes. We had a full day on campus. And it was an incredible educational experience as well. We some of the feedback that came back to us was it was pitched at the perfect level in that it was understandable for the layman or the people that are coming in at a lower understanding, and it was also it gave a thoughtful and an insightful day for those that are in the industry and looking to expand. So that's another kind of initiative that's happening here on the ground.
Does that happen once a year, or is that a biannual thing, or how does that?
So the summit will be once a year, likely to be again February of next year.
Sure.
But we've been expanding it out with the hope of having some satellite events around, and I think again there's a couple of spokes that here are making up the wheel to bring this forward. We have the super team who are heavy backers and supporters of the NI blockchain. I mean, what we have here on the ground in Ormo Labs, you guys have been super supportive on both fronts. We've been speaking to a number of bodies across NI and across Belfast, Software NI. We've spoken to a number of different industry partners and different universities building here. So I guess it's something that we want to make a focal point annually, but we also want to do those satellite events to, like you say, increase the awareness, increase the education, and increase the exposure to, I guess, blockchain technology as part of the stack of founders and builders and the startup ecosystems. Yeah.
There's one point when we were chatting previously and you had mentioned this line and I loved it, and it was audiences watch, networks build. And you said that to me and I was like, wow, that's really cool. That's so true. And you really, I suppose, summed it up as well in terms of what you're talking around. And you highlighted a couple of points there in terms of like, what you're doing and bringing the communities together is, you're expanding your ideas. You'd mentioned around that. You're building that blockchain community so that they actually are fully aware and they're educated and they're feeling supported as well. So I suppose bringing it back to that piece around audiences watch, networks build. What does that mean to you as such?
Well, I think one of the core theses for me has been everything happens behind the screen. Development, people are online terminally.
Sure.
We've seen it since we've all gone to a remote setting. And I know we're coming out of that now. But a lot of it has been, watching from the sidelines, or has been, people curious but not involved. And, we can all build a presence online. We can all build, in this current day and age, you can set an AI to go and do that for you. You know, we can expand that out. But in terms of actually building a network and building connections, when it comes to we call it the broader startup network or business network, to actually, get those first sales over the line, to meet that founder, to connect with a community, or the first 10 champion customers or clients, or ideal customer profiles. That has to happen through, meeting people, talking to people, getting those ideas, getting that feedback, on the ground. And it's invaluable. People don't realize, or maybe they do, but they don't realize until they get out there that, there's a whole wealth of customers and potential and founders and co-founders and, partners that they can find on the ground that, yes, you can do it behind a screen, but the value add from actually being there, being within the ecosystem and building that network is huge, and it's exponentially growth.
Yeah, it's so true. I think we come from and live in a world where, we have a lot of like developers that are in this space, and a lot of them have had that transition from just being at home and plugging away and working away to actually wanting to be in a space, because there's that community aspect to it. And that's like at the heart of everything we do here at Ormo Labs. So it's like it aligns really well in terms of what you're doing as well, with the Solana super team and the blockchain piece. And I suppose, have you got like a real example where one conversation of being part of a community has led to something more, in the work that you're doing in the last wee while, or in your experience?
I mean, for example, from the NI blockchain event, we put in a lot of groundwork to try and get good local people to be part of that day, in terms of companies from all different angles. We approached it from a blockchain, AI and sustainability. So kind of emerging tech with a future focus. And following that event, we had a lot of conversations with the people that participated and the people that were there in the days. And we found a large number of people said, oh, it was amazing. I met with X person that I didn't realize was here, or that I didn't know was doing this build or building such and such, and we've collaborated together. I've met with people since, and they have said to me, oh yeah, I met with X person on the day, and we're connecting again next week to explore what we can do here. It's been, I think, one of the things that we spoke as a team that put together the event on that day. It's been really, really, from where we started with a problem, a personal problem. As we went through that journey, it was kind of really vindicated that this wasn't just a personal problem. This was an issue for people on the ground, and the feedback was, this was really necessary. It was great for the ecosystem, and it connected people on levels that hadn't necessarily been there before. I mean, bringing people's awareness to different companies was kind of core part of the mission, connecting them into the academic level as well. I mean, ultimately, where is the next founder or builder or, unicorn from Belfast or the north of Ireland going to come? It's from the universities. It's somebody that's there, that has an idea, that pulls on a thread, and they can build and expand from there. And I think, back to, I guess, here on the ground in Ormo Labs, we see even on the Friday Talent Hub meetups, you guys have an incredible network of founders here from the Founders Lab cohorts. And every day or every Friday that we're here, there's interactions across those. We sit, we'll have a coffee, we'll have a chat. Somebody will come up with an idea. Someone will solve a problem. It's those interlinks that you wouldn't get without a space like here, and an ecosystem like what we're trying to build, and what you guys have in abundance here as well.
Yeah, and I suppose that sort of filters into nicely just my next question, which is, if you're a founder, builder, developer listening, and it's that piece around showing up, creating those genuine relationships that then lead into the stepping stone of the next piece for you, how do they do that? How do they connect in? How do they come to the next talent hub? Like, how do they do that?
I mean, first and foremost, check out socials. You know, there's the Solana Super Team Ireland have a very active LinkedIn and Twitter. You can follow along there. You can join the community groups. But I guess to my point and to the whole thesis, you know, don't just join the socials. Don't just follow them. Actually make it a point to show up.
Be part of it.
We're here in Belfast the last Friday of the month. We're here from, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then as we have done each case, we, pop around for a drink afterwards, the social occasion.
Yeah.
Show up. If it's for an hour, if it's for a day, you're more than welcome. It's a co-working space. Everybody is welcome. If you're curious and you want to get involved, you want to meet people, it's the place to be. And we're trying to build that out to create that core space for founders and for builders to come together. And, equally with the work that we're doing with you guys, we want, again, we don't want it to be just blockchain siloed or Solana siloed. We want this to be part of the broader startup ecosystem. So if you're interested in blockchain, if you're not interested in blockchain, come down, show up, meet some people. You never know what might come of it. Again, those in-person connections are invaluable and you don't know until you're actually there.
Yeah. I think that's a really nice place to just come to a point of end in this. Yeah. What we've highlighted is that piece around and the importance of real human connection and the value in that. We want this space to feel welcoming and warming and part of a wider community that we're here to support the founders on the ground. So, we are super delighted to work with yourself and the team at Super Team Ireland and supporting those founders. So, Ian, thank you so much. We're back again at the end of this month for the Talent Hub meetup.
Yes.
Correct. Awesome. But we're moving forward, like you say, we're doing a bit of a bi-month or bi-weekly, I suppose it is.
Yes.
Bi-weekly meetup. So there's going to be more opportunities, more times to merely make those real connections.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're super excited.
Yeah. Amy, look, thanks for having me, first of all.
Yeah.
And from the broader, blockchain ecosystem, thanks to you guys, all of you here at Orma Labs for, the incredible support you've given us, the space to try and make our home. And generally for what you guys do for the overall startup ecosystem here in Belfast. It's incredibly valuable and people, really should take note of that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.